Well, thank you all. This morning, the Macomb County Sheriff's Department presented 2 warrant requests to my office. One for Andrew Michael Fiacco and one for Yvette Renee McDonald. And after their exhaustive investigation over the past couple days, we authorized a 4-count felony indictment on Andrew Michael Fiacco. Count 1, first-degree murder. That is a life felony without parole for the murder of Stephen McAfee. Count 2, felony firearm, which is a 2-year felony. Count 3, disinterment and mutilation of a dead body, which is a 10-year felony. And count 4, lying to a police officer in the investigation of a violent crime, which is a 4-year felony. And as to Yvette Renee McDonald, our office authorized a 3-count felony indictment, accessory after the fact to a felony murder. That's a 5-year felony. Count 2, disinterment and mutilation of a dead body, which is a 10-year felony. And count 3, lying to a police officer in the investigation of a violent crime, which is a 4-year felony. Sheriff Wickersham will go through the facts that led us to these charges today.
Well, thanks for attending. And just by way of revisiting how we got to today, is this case all revolves around the disappearance of Stephen Christopher McAfee, which you could see the posters to my right. Stephen was last seen on March 10th, 2016 at his home in Macomb Township at about 2:30 a.m. His family reported him missing to the sheriff's office on March 13th, 2016. Over the next weeks and months, detectives from the sheriff's office interviewed multiple family and friends, followed up on numerous tips, engaged with a private detective that was hired by the family to go over clues and information. The family entirely went out putting up missing flyer bulletins and just trying to keep the information out there about Stephen's disappearance and trying to locate him. Crime Stoppers also offered a reward in this case early on. As time went on, cases, leads, and information went cold. The sheriff's office got a break on April 26th in the evening hours when we had a young lady and her father come to our office to provide us information on what had happened to Stephen. I won't go into all the details, but she was given information by the ex-girlfriend of Mr. Fiacco that Andrew had shot Stephen, and that she helped in dismembering the body. She also gave us information on where the location of Stephen's remains may be. We then went and arrested Yvette that night on 4/26, and during an interview she provided us information implicating herself in the charges that Prosecutor Smith just told you about, and again provided us additional details. That same night we went out and arrested Andrew Fiacco, brought him in and questioned him, and again received the same information, and he gave us locations of where Stephen's remains are currently at. Sheriff's investigators yesterday searched 2 locations. We searched the Fiacco house on Kunzman Road in Ray Township, and we also searched a private, a vacant land in 34 Mile and Van Dyke. On both of those locations, we found evidence of the crime, and we found remains of Stephen McAfee. One of the remains that was found at the 34 Mile area was positively identified by the Macomb County Medical Examiner's Office as Stephen McAfee. Some questions you may ask during the interview: Fiacco's story changed multiple times. As reported, we do not have a motive as to why this transpired. So if there was anything out there that And the family is concerned that, it's been reported that this may be drug-related. We have nothing that would indicate that. We have also spoken to the family this morning, and they request that you respect their privacy. They do not want to be contacted during this difficult time, and we assured them that we would send that message to the media here. Again, they will be, both individuals, mugshots are up on the screen there. We will send them electronically to your news desks, and they will be formally arraigned at 1:30 p.m. in the Romeo District Court this afternoon. With that, we will entertain a few questions.
Sheriff, on this case, when she came forward on April the 26th, and then your subsequent investigation, is it your information that Mr. McAfee had been shot several times, but his body was not buried right away, that in fact it had been kept in another location and then was buried at a subsequent time?
We know that the the information that we have is that the Van Dyke and 34 Mile location is where the shooting occurred, and Mr. McAfee was there for some period of time before the two defendants went back and took the body elsewhere and buried part of it at his home.
Have you gotten some idea of how much time? Days,
we
weeks, months,
we do not have an exact time.
approximately?
Could be a month.
And where was the body kept then? Where was the body at that time?
The body was still up at 34 Mile
Was it
after.
in the ground or was it someplace else?
It was on the vacant property.
Just out in the open?
Yep.
Out in the open, it wasn't
It's
kept in...
34 Mile and Van Dyke. It was way off the beaten path.
And it was sitting on top of the ground?
I believe so.
Sheriff, Fiacco is changing his story. What is McDonald saying about a motive? Why did they do this?
McDonald really didn't provide us a motive. She was brought out there at a later time. Exact time that she was brought out there to see the body, we don't know. But it was at that point that she insisted in dismembering it.
So they were going to keep going. They were not going to reveal this at all. They were going to keep pushing.
Well, we were over a year in this investigation, and we didn't have any information until the young lady came in 2 days ago. But the vet did confide in this young lady a few months ago, at which point I think it got to her conscience, and she confided in her father, and her father said, we're going to the sheriff's office to report the information. And that's how we're here today.
When would remains placed at the family home?
That we don't have an exact time. Again, they're not, their timeline of when things occurred is not precise.
What does his father, what does he know about this?
I do not have that information.
Was he being questioned, or was he?
They
under
were present.
investigation?
They were present when the search warrant was executed. As to their involvement, I don't have any information at this point. My investigators are still working this case. Obviously, they've been going for over 30 some hours. When they got the information, they worked through the night, and they were out at the scene yesterday. So,
Are you still looking for others who are either involved or knew about this?
in any investigation, we want to make sure if there's any other players that are involved, that we can follow through and make sure that we've done a thorough investigation so we can give the family closure.
Had McAfee been shot, and so how many times?
We know that we're going by Andrew's statement. It was multiple times. So, again, we'll wait for it.
Parts of the body? In the autopsy, the ME would be able to...
That's exactly. And again, we'll be waiting for Spitz's report. Though remains were found at both scenes, so that's going to be up to Dr. Spitz to determine that and tell
You
us.
haven't gotten any of that information yet?
Not yet.
And are you confident that all the remains have been located?
At this point, no. So
So there may be other body parts unaccounted for?
there could be, yes.
Sir, do we know approximately when the shooting occurred, and then can you talk a little bit about what you know about the government portion of this as well?
again, following the timeline, we're going by with what Andrew had told us. We believe that they somehow met up on the day he disappeared when he left the house on March 10th. And we think they went out sometime that night or that early morning out to that area, 34 Mile and Van Dyke. As far as the the details of how the body was treated, and I'm not going to release that at this point for the family's sake.
Mr. Smith, just a question about this gal. The sheriff indicated that she had been told this, allegedly by Yvette months ago, I think was what you said. What is her legal status as far as your office is concerned? She knew about this, she didn't come forward immediately. Could she be charged with the crime herself? Are you considering that, or have you ruled that out? What's her status with your office? Would you step up and please?
She will be a witness in this case. She's not facing any criminal charges at all. There's no good Samaritan law here where she has to come forward. But we're happy she did come forward. Without her coming to the sheriff's department and her and her father 2 days ago, we wouldn't be standing here now. So we're happy that she did. She does not face any criminal charges, but these two defendants are the ones that are facing the criminal charges.
Is she entitled to a Crime Stoppers report? Since she solved this mystery?
That's something you'd have to ask Crime Stoppers.
What is the relationship between Andrew and Stephen?
Andrew, they were friends at some point. Again, I don't know how close a friend or what the friendship was. And again, Yvette was Andrew's boyfriend at the time.
But Yvette didn't necessarily have a connection to Stephen that you know of?
Not that we have found.
Was it
Classmates of Stephen?
What's that?
Were they classmates?
That we're not sure. They all went to different schools, multiple schools, is what my detectives have told me. So, again, right now we know the relationship is they were acquaintances or friends at some point.
What do you make of a boyfriend and girlfriend who alleged to have done this and then have the ability to dismember someone that they know? What's going on here? What's gone wrong? What happened?
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, we can't look into the minds of killers or accessories. All we can do is prove what they did, and that's what we're going to do in court. I don't have to prove why they did it. We don't have to have a motive, and I think our motive is a little bit, their motive is a little sketchy right now. But after the thorough investigation by the investigators of the Sheriff's Department, we're confident in our charges, and we're confident in our ability to prove these charges.
I didn't read, I think somewhere, perhaps an act was used, and you talked about A, if that's true, and B, what type of evidence you found at the, I think you said the 34-mile location, is that correct?
Evidence and remains of Stephen were found at both locations, but at this point, I'm not going to release all of the evidence that was found, just giving you the general information that we have that we were able to present to the prosecutor's office. Everything will come out at a later time.
And you guys believe that the shooting that March 10th, you guys believe that is when the shooting probably occurred?
Again, we're going by some of the conversation we had with Andrew, and again, a lot of the information is over a year. It's sketchy, so our timeline isn't exact. So for me to say that it did occur on that night, we can only speculate. But we do have the facts, we do have evidence, and we do have the remains of Stephen McAfee.
Do you have any email or any cell phone data that shows any communication between the suspects and the victim here?
That'll also be part of the investigation.
Did you see cell phones from them?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you describe the second scene, the 34 and Van Dyke is the one scene. Can you describe whereabouts on the property?
Vacant property, a long way off. What's that?
The other one, Andrew's house, Andrew's father's house, or whatever.
Okay.
Can you describe that scene, whereabouts on the property?
And it's obviously it's a large house, as you've seen. There's acreage there, and it was back behind some outbuildings.
Is the 34 and Van Dyke property, is that privately owned, is it farmland? Is it-
Privately owned. We've spoken with the owner of the property, yeah.
And it's a separate owner from
Correct.
any of these folks?
Yep, no correlation.
Okay.
Still searching for remains, is that correct?
Yes.
Is he not, Andrew, not providing all the information, just like the two scenes and not revealing where the other scenes are?
Well, you have to remember that body at the 34 Mile was left out there for some period of time. So,
Were these parts just buried, were they placed in any kind of bags? Were they just put in the ground?
just buried.
There were no bags in?
No.
Do they seem remorseful at all after what they've done?
I didn't do the interview. My investigator did. I don't think so.
So he was taken into custody at what time?
I don't know the exact time. It was the evening of the 26th as this information was received. We began to work the investigation, pull in additional resources. We went and got Yvette first and interviewed her, and she corroborated what our witness had told us. And at the same time, while she was being interviewed, we went to pick up Andrew. We brought him in. So again, the exact time that they were each taken into custody, I don't have.
So was he out at the scene after the custody with your investigators to show them?
We utilized him with his, to help us locate where remains were buried.
Fiacco, was he in custody? Was he in the jail? Was he in some sort of treatment program when you picked him up for this?
He was in an inpatient treatment.
For drugs?
It was court order, so I don't have the exact information in front of me.
And what about if that, talk a little bit about it, so the woman who came into the sheriff's office here to report, and then she was arrested where? In that, at her home? Or-
At a home. At her home, yep.
At her home?
Yep.
Okay, and do you know, which community is she in?
Shelby Township. She's from Shelby Township, and Andrew is from Ray Township.
And he was picked up in an inpatient treatment facility?
Yep.
Which community was that?
City of Warren.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right.
One quick question about the father again, in front of Andrew, to ask you, just clarify, does he have a rule? Is he talking to you, does he know anything?
Have you talked to Andrew's dad? No.
You get the ages on these two?
Andrew is 19 and Yvette is 18. And again, they're going to be arraigned at 1:30. We'll again send out the mugshots electronically along with the bond information if you're not going to go up there or be part of it. So
Sheriff, let me ask you some quick questions. I was going to ask you about where the body was, whether it was buried right away, and so on. You said it was out at 30 Mile and Van Dyke.
34 in Van Dyke.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There you go.
A source told us that the body was in Yvette's trunk of her car or something.
Okay.
Can you comment on that?
We're not going to comment on that. This is all part of the investigation. We do have their vehicles here, so we'll be doing some searching. So yeah. If you got your source, we'd like to know.
Bruce Township, 34?
34 in Van Dyke is Bruce Township. The house is in Ray Township.
And what is the, have you guys had contact with these folks in the past, and what kind of contract for criminal charges?
Andrew, we actually had a case where you may have reported, I think there was a group of kids shooting out ATM. Am I correct on that one? Yeah, he was arrested for that. We had video of teenagers shooting out ATM cameras.
When was that? Approximately.
I'm looking at my staff. Bear with me.
Last year?
They can get you that information. Yeah.
Okay, and what about any contact with you guys or any other law enforcement in Shelby PD?
Not with us. I don't know what her criminal history was at all.
And they were dating at the time when this happened?
Yes, they're
Have
not.
they been dating
No,
2 days ago?
nope, they are exes.
They are exes.
And I don't
Were
know.
they at the time?
They were at the time, yeah.